So you decided to start a garden, and it was a good decision. Or maybe you've had a garden and just didn't want to waste your time and money on products that may not perform. I don't like giving my money away, and I'm sure you don't either. That's why we're here today. I ran all over town and bought everything from a $4 bag of soil to a $30 bag of soil, from what the industry considers very beginner or less than beginner to what the industry considers more of a premium soil. We're going to rip these bags open. We're going to evaluate what's inside. I'll give you my opinions on it. I'll tell you what I would do if I was starting over or starting from the beginning. Then we're going to take it a step further. We're going to pot all this up, put the same plant in each one, treat it and neglect it the same way. And at the end of the season, you can find out right along with me what works and what doesn't. Then what I did is I went on Amazon and I picked up a giant bag of 5-gallon grow bags. Figure that's something really easy that everybody can do. These are, I think they're called the Delxco, but they come out to be like $1 a piece. You can't go wrong. Get it? Can't grow wrong. Can't go wrong with these fabric bags. I started using them a couple years ago, and they're great. I figured I picked up 20 of them. That'll cover our tests throughout the growing season. But then I started thinking, it's the beginning of the growing season. You guys are about to get out there and start buying soil. And if you're a new grower, what do you buy? So what I'm going to do is break this up into a couple little sections. First, today we're going to go over from the cheapest to the most expensive. We're going to open the bag. I'm going to show you what it looks like and give you my opinions on it. That way you can get out there and buy your soil now. But then I want to bring you along with me, and it's something I've never done either. We're going to take each one of the soils and put them in 5-gallon bags, put the same, I'm thinking pepper, in them, and then I'll do a series and you can follow it all season long, and we'll see what the different brands do. There's all this hate on certain brands, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've tried some of those brands before and had really good luck with them. Now, before we go any further, I am going to tell you just flat out, I do have a couple biases on myself and everybody else on YouTube that does this. I have used Happy Frog and Ocean Forest from Fox Farms very successfully. So I'm going to be really disappointed if they get beat out by a $4 bag of soil. But if they do, they do. It's something I want to know too. So I do really like the Fox Farms product, and now it's not perfect. I started off years and years, so I mean like 20 years ago. I started off with Ocean Forest, and being new to the Fox Farm family back then, you know, I kind of thought Ocean Forest, being a little bit more money, was going to be better. And then I kind of got switched into Happy Frog because it's a much larger bag, you get more for your money. And out of the two, I gotta say I probably have enjoyed Happy Frog a little bit more. Now, another bias I have is I have used Miracle-Gro Performance Organics a lot over the years with a lot of success. I don't have any complaints about Miracle-Gro Performance Organics, but I have a bunch of other brands here that I don't know anything about. What prompted me to do this video is I accidentally, you know how you could do the online Walmart order and go pick it up? Well, I had been doing some other Walmart stuff, and I left a bag of soil in my cart even after I went around and bought all these bags. So it was extra. And then just for some potting up, my son and I needed some extra soil, so I opened it. And I gotta say, I was horribly disappointed. And I thought, my God, people are spending their money on this. But to give you an idea, if you haven't used fabric bags, I want to kind of show you that these are a really good way to go. Fabric bags, they have handles on them, so you can pick them up and move them in and out or in the shade, in the sun. Bang for your buck, it's probably the best one. But what we're going to do is, one by one, I'll bring them over here, and we're going to start with the cheapest and work our way up to try to help you figure out what it is you should be going out and buying. Okay, first we're going to start with the Expert brand from Walmart. Now, A ton of these came from Walmart, because as a new grower, if you're getting into growing and you want to do it, what are you going to do? You're going to run down to Walmart. So I really want to show you from Walmart on, and most of the brands, like I said, are from Walmart, but then as you get a little more seasoned, if you want to take a step up into the more expensive brands, I want you to see what those look like. Now there is a little disclaimer here. This is garden soil. It isn't meant for pots, but I really had to give this a shot, and I kind of want to see what garden soil will do. But they had a huge sale on this, 2 cubic foot bags for $4. I can amend it, I can change it into what I want it to be, was my train of thought. So we're going to start with this, $4 for 2 cubic foot. That's $2 a cubic foot. If it grows, which it will, if it grows or if it performs, then how can you go wrong, right? Okay, let's dig into it. My first thoughts on this is, what the hell? Now, remember, I'm going to hold it out here and then I'll zoom it in when I'm doing editing. There's a lot of wood chips, a lot of thicker stuff inside there. All in all though, I mean, it's made to go in your ground, in garden beds in your ground, you know, flowers, stuff like that. So I'm not going to knock on it too hard. And like I said, $2 a cubic foot, nothing else even came close. There's a very woody smell to it. Honestly, it's only a step or two above maybe a regular unfinished compost. Would I buy it for pots like what I do? Not unless I was going to amend it with other things, you know, add some more peat moss to it, fertilizers, that kind of thing. Next is the Back to Roots, made in the USA, again from Walmart. This is raised bed mix. Again, it's not potting soil, and it's not container potting soil, but raised bed isn't, in my opinion, any different than the large containers like what I'm using, but it's considered premium blend. Let's take a look. I'm going to give you the inside here. This is the bag that I opened up. Well, not this one. This is the brand that I already opened up and was so disappointed in. Unfinished compost looks better than this. I don't know what honestly is inside this that's making it look so sparkly, and you probably can't get that on the camera to really see. But this almost looks like wood ash, which, don't get me wrong, wood ash is an amendment, is a good thing. I'm not getting much of a smell now. Little disclaimer, I don't have much of a smell either. So after my second time of catching the, you know, the illness, I don't want to say the name because apparently channels get banned for that. My sense of smell never came back. This is a ton of wood chips, and big ones. So just off first impression, we're still going to give it the test, but off first impression, I wouldn't use this at all. On to Whitney Farms, again, Walmart. Now this is considered a potting soil. Okay. First impression, it's way better than the last two. There's still quite a bit of wood chip in there, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you do what I do and you go from your big 15-gallon pots and then the next season you dump them into your big raised beds. That stuff all decomposes. Organic material. It does have organic, it says more organic materials and natural fertilizer, which is going to be good. Feeds up to 2 months. Right offhand, I don't see, but a good soft mix is what I'm getting at for the price. So far, if I was you and I hadn't played with soils before, and I haven't tested them until this year, so I can't say on that, but just off of first impression, I would go with this before the last two brands. So right now, Whitney Farms is winning. Okay, on to the brand that everybody loves to hate, but you see it everywhere. Like I said, I've used a couple of their products and it's worked just fine. Did it win a contest? I don't know. Just like everybody else, when I started out, I didn't have the money to go grabbing expensive soil, you know, and all that kind of stuff either. So I really want you to see what's out there. Whoa. First impression is not good. Now, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. I didn't go with their cheap $6, $7 bag that isn't made for the vegetables. I went with vegetable and herb. They are still calling it garden soil. They're saying it's made with compost and moisture control and all this stuff. So I spent an extra couple bucks and got that one. But that's pretty bad. I wouldn't put that in big pots or in planter pots. I could see using this not for vegetables. I could see using this to amend, you know, curtilage, you know, around the house, that kind of stuff. But I'm not. Look at this. There's some big old chunks inside there. I mean, there's branches in here. I'm actually kind of surprised. Look, that's actually like just broke off of the tree. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised. I'm not like all these other YouTubers. I don't hate on Miracle-Gro. I've had actual very good experiences with Miracle-Gro, and I thought this was going to be one of them. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it does in the tests throughout the season, but I'm shocked. Their basic stuff typically looks better than this. Okay, hopefully moving our way up. Now, for some reason, I had to look all over the place in my town to find Performance Organics. Like I said, I have used this many times in the past and have never had an issue with it. So I hope I don't open it and have an issue with it today. Let's find out. Oh, we got a little hole already in here. Much better than the garden soil. You get plenty of the fluffy material, peat or cocoa, whichever it is. A little bit of the sticks, but they're small. You can tell that they've been broken down in there. More of a soil smell. That works. Still not disappointed. Is it the best? No, probably not. But does it work well? It has for me in the past. So I'm still going to give this a good rating. And right now, says it's raised bed mix. I've used it in my giant pots for years growing peppers. Right now, I'm going to say this is in my lead as far as cost. We'll check. I'll throw prices up when I'm doing the editing. We'll check price comparison, but I really don't think this was that much more than Whitney Farms, even though I had to go find it from a local Ace Hardware, because for some reason Walmart didn't have it, Lowe's didn't have it, Home Depot didn't have it. But I can tell you, if you're new to growing and you don't know what to buy, I've used this plenty of times and it's going to work for you. Will it work the best? I don't know until we do our test. But if you're new to it and you need to go out and buy some soil, you're not going to go wrong by buying this one. Okay, what I think was next in the price lineup anyway is the Pro Mix. Now, I haven't used Pro Mix myself, but I will tell you that quite a few people that I respect their opinion here on YouTube, and some of my friends have used Pro Mix with great success, and they say really good things about it. So I'm expecting to be pleased. It actually looks like it's mostly peat moss with fertilizers mixed in. Now, I don't know if that's the case. This is just my initial opinion, but it doesn't look bad. And I would much rather start with a base like this, especially for the large pots, if I'm going to be growing something in the backyard, you know, that kind of thing. If you're going to go get a plant and just get a pot and stick it in your backyard. You can definitely see it's got fertilizers in it. Yeah, it smells like Smells like peat. Now I haven't looked to see if it was peat or cocoa, but it looks like peat. And this is the premium organic blend. And you also get 2 cubic foot with it. Compressed pack garden mix. Yeah, it's made for your pots. Ingredients: peat moss. Oh, it's both peat, cocoa, perlite. Well, you guys know I like that mix already. Ground limestone for a pH adjustment, and it has the mycorrhizal fungi in it. Looks like, in my opinion, good for your money. From here on out, the next few we're going to take a look at are considered a more premium soil. So I'm going to go with Happy Frog first, and there's a reason, being that Happy Frog is a little less expensive typically than your Ocean Forest. The reason being, Happy Frog is a 2 cubic foot, and I think Ocean Forest will pull out next is 1 cubic foot for about the same price as 2 cubic foot. So your Happy Frog's a little bit cheaper. And this is what, thank goodness, I've come to expect out of Happy Frog. Very much so. A very nice, light, airy, fluffy mixture. You can see some organic material in there. Lots of perlite. And if you look, when you get into one like this, they actually put a lot more stuff in it. They have your mycorrhizal fungi in there. They have different fertilizers in there. They have different micronutrients in there. So you're definitely getting more for your money when you go with one like this. And like I said, I am biased. I've used it plenty of times before, actually a lot before, and I do really like Happy Frog. I don't think you can go wrong with Fox Farms products, period. Now, let's hope this test doesn't prove me wrong. And on to the Ocean Forest. Everybody's got different opinions on this. I started off, okay, just to get this out of the way, about 25 years ago, I was growing other things. I do live in Colorado. I started off with Ocean Forest when I made the jump to a premium brand. Ocean Forest has a lot more of your micronutrients in it, bat guano and earthworm castings, and it's got a lot in it. So in my opinion, it would support multi-months of grow a whole lot better. Although, no matter what, I recommend using fertilizer. I took the jump to Ocean Forest, and it's a big jump, in all honesty. I want to say nowadays this is 1.5 cubic foot, but still it was around 25 bucks at the local Murdoch store. If you're going to take that step, Fox Farms has positioned themselves, in my opinion, to be that step to the premium brand. So let's see what we're getting here. Now, I was very happy with the Ocean Forest the entire time I used it, but I felt like I got more for my money when I switched over to Happy Frog, just because that extra half cubic foot. Was I right? I don't know. Ocean Forest actually very much looks like Happy Frog. Lots of perlite, probably a mix of cocoa coir, peat moss. It has a much more rich smell to it, and like I said, I am biased, so this is an initial reaction. It's come to be everything I've ever thought it would be. They're very consistent when you get into Fox Farms products. So if you're going to make that step away from Walmart brands and go into a premium product, but still a good price with bigger companies that's available anywhere, Fox Farms is, in my opinion, the way to go. Back when I was going back and forth, I went from Ocean Forest to Happy Frog. I actually think, and I'm going off memory here, but I actually think that I liked mixing the two even better. So once I started mixing Ocean Forest and Happy Frog, and again, a lot of it's perception. We don't know if it actually works unless you set up a test like we're going to do this year and see for yourself. So either way, I think you'll do well if you decide to make the step to Fox Farm. Now, I have not used this yet, but if you want to go even further, and again, it's an opinion-based thing, but here in Colorado, we have a lot of custom soil companies. We didn't use it, we're not using them in this test just because I couldn't get my hands on it just yet. But Build a Soil is just an hour south of me. This is Paonia Soil Company. I have heard nothing but good things out of people I know. about Paonia Soil Company. One thing I will say, initial reaction though, I mean, it's 1 cubic foot, so it is less than these, but that feels awful light, almost like it's dry. Let's find out though. I've been wanting to try Paonia Soil Company for quite a while. It's a very good looking soil. Smells a lot like the ocean forest. It's got smaller, not as coarse, of the perlite in it. Very light and fluffy. I do like that. Now this one's called the Balm 50/50. They use coconut, core peat, sphagnum, peat moss, perlite, and then they use worm castings and kelp meal and feather meal and gypsum and oyster shells and dolomite and molasses. And I mean, I'll try to zoom in on this. So yes, you are paying a little bit more, and it's 1 cubic foot, but we're gonna see what it comes out to in the end. If you watch, a lot of your guys out here who really do like competition growing, who really like scientifically get into mixing their soil, they use most of this stuff on this list. I have high hopes of this. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint. Now the other side to think about on this, and I've gone back and forth on how to do my test, so do me a favor, let me know down below if you would rather see the test done with the specific company's fertilizer, because most of them that I have here have their own fertilizers and a granular. I'm really honestly going to have a hard time just putting soil in there and letting the plant fend for itself. I don't think any soil can maintain the entire summer in a big pot like what I do with the demands of something like peppers and make it produce the way I want it to. And I'm going to have a really hard time sitting back letting it. I don't want to see the plant just die or fail. I tend to nurse every one of them along. So my thought on it right now is, especially if they have their own, so obviously we know Miracle-Gro has their own, Performance Organic even has its own with Miracle-Gro, your Whitney Farms has their own. And then my thought is if it's a company that doesn't have their own, then maybe amend it with just, a 222, 10-10-10, whatever, granular fertilizer. So granular fertilizer, if we put it in from the start, it's going to take a while to break down and then pick up and start feeding, because a lot of these bags say feed for 2 months or feed for 3 months. I kind of think that's BS. That's just my personal opinion. And it does depend on what you're growing in it. If you're growing something like a tomato or a pepper that is a heavy feeder, then I don't think it's going to do it. But these companies design this to work together. So Miracle-Gro designed their soil and their fertilizer to work together. I also do like that Miracle-Gro's fertilizer is water soluble, so it's immediate for the plant, and it's very easy to use, in all honesty. If you get into these, take a look, your granular type fertilizers, I really think we should blend the soil that we're dealing with. So even if it's like expert garden soil, blend it with just a medium, 222 of like Dr. Earth. I've got quite a few bags of this because I really like it. I don't think, I feel like most people watching my channel, if they're gonna grow something, especially like a hot pepper, a specialty thing, I think they're gonna push to grow it the best they can. I don't think they're just gonna throw soil in a bag and let the plant fend for itself. What do you think? I'm really interested to know on, do you want me to do the whole season long test with fertilizer or without? Now I will tell you, the biggest gardening channel, the biggest gardening channel on YouTube, and one that I watch religiously, Epic Gardening. If you watch Kevin and Jacques, they did a great job, and I'm sure it hurt them a little bit inside, but they didn't fertilize all the way through. They put all these different soils in the bags and they let the plants grow, and then they showed you what they did. I can do that too, but it's gonna pain me to do it. So let me know what you think. Which way would you like it to be done? And also let me know down below which soils you have used and had either good or bad luck with. Let's try to help the community out here. We're also going to put my 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 mix to the test, and part of my 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 mix is compost, which is what some of these soils actually look like. So we'll see if there's any difference from the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 all the way down to a $2 a cubic foot, which still blows me away that they sold that, even if it doesn't look good, or it does. I can't believe that they were able to sell it for $2 a cubic foot. On that note, let me show you why I bought a bunch of those soils as well, because I'm doing something this year a little bit different than I have before. 5 cubic foot grow bag, 40 cubic foot grow bag. So this year, I've talked a few times in the videos, I've mentioned it, but Chili Chump here on YouTube and Pepper Geek and Pepper Guru, all those guys have grown the Dorset Naga plant, the hot pepper. I think it's about 1 million Scoville units, but it has a tendency to grow large. If you follow that at all, look up Nigel, the Dorset Naga plant. Just put that into Google and you'll see that thing is humongous. But how do you, I mean, look at how much soil Pepper Guru is putting in his, or not putting in his, that he's using for his. Pepper Geek didn't do as much, and I want to say that Chili Chump went with a bag like this and then went with like a 90 liter as well, or at least a pot that size. I don't know if it was a bag or not, I don't remember, but that's a lot of soil. So my thought was, if I bought some of the cheaper soils and then amended it with all the different things, it would be very similar to using, peat moss or whatever and just adding a bunch of that in. So I would have a bunch left over. My idea is that I would fill all these bags, and a lot of these are 1.5 or 2 cubic foot. So there's a bunch left over, because I think don't quote me, but I think 1 cubic foot, or maybe it's 1.5, is like 7.5 gallons, something like that. So I would have some left over, and I would dump it all in together and fill 2 of these, and then try to grow the giant pepper and follow it all year long. So that's why I bought a lot of the cheaper soils. Normally I wouldn't buy a ton of these cheaper soils. Don't they know we're trying to video out here? Normally I wouldn't buy a lot of these cheaper soils, but that's the reason I did. The longer you're into this, the more you're going to buy the more premium soil. So we will be adding on to this, and we're going to be following these plants all through the season. But I wanted to get this video out here and just get initial reactions to kind of help, especially if you're a new grower, or if you're like me and you just haven't gone out and bought all these soils and looked at them for yourself. Do me a favor, if you're liking content like this, if it's helping you out at all, if you would give me a subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps a lot, and comments help a ton. If you could go down there and really tell us what you think. Soil is a very controversial topic, and I'm not bad-mouthing any of them. So let me know what's worked for you. Let me know what hasn't worked for you, and we'll get this conversation started. And like I always say, you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared, and garden is your biggest prep that you can do to be prepared out there. I'm Steve, this is the Chili Prepper channel, and we'll see you on the next one.